If you look at airport security, you won't be surprised that even something as harmless as a reusable straw can suddenly be the reason you miss your flight. Yes, you heard that right. A stainless steel straw. You bought it to save the planet, to sip your iced latte guilt-free, maybe even to feel just a little bit more eco-chic. But at airport security, that same straw can be flagged as a potential weapon. Suddenly, you're standing there with your shoes off, your laptop in one tray, your dignity in another, and the security officer holding up your innocent little straw like it's a lightsaber from Star Wars. And that's where today's story begins. Because while you think you know the rules about what you can bring in your carry-on, liquids, laptops, chargers, the usual suspects, there are brand new regulations and lesser-known restrictions that can turn your smooth trip into an absolute disaster. What I'm about to share with you isn't just about avoiding embarrassment at the scanner. It's about saving you from missing your flight entirely. So buckle up, well, not literally, we're still at the airport, and let's dive into the carry-on rules you didn't know existed. Let's stay with the straw for a second, because this one blows people's minds. A stainless steel straw is sleek, shiny, eco-friendly, and according to some airports, dangerous. Why? Because it's rigid metal, sharp at the edges, and technically could be used as a weapon. Imagine you're sipping your oat milk cappuccino on the way to your gate, thinking you're saving the turtles, and suddenly you're being pulled aside. Now here's the kicker. In one airport, you might get waved through. In another, the officer might confiscate it. And in yet another, they'll make such a fuss over it that you actually miss boarding. If you thought losing a half-finished bottle of water was annoying, try explaining to your friends that your vacation got delayed because of a straw. So what are the actual rules? Technically, the stainless steel straw falls into a grey area. It's not officially listed as prohibited in the way scissors or knives are, but because it's a rigid piece of metal with a sharp end, security agents have the discretion to treat it as a potential weapon. And here's the important part. Once security decides it's not allowed, you don't get the option to just toss it in your bag again. It has to be surrendered right there, just like a lighter or an oversized bottle of shampoo. No arguments, no appeals, no, but it's eco-friendly speech is going to change that. The good news, if you can call it that, is that once you've cleared security, you're done. Nobody at boarding is going to check your drinkware, and flight attendants aren't inspecting your carry-on for stray straws. The entire problem happens at the security checkpoint, which means the straw either makes it through at that moment, or it doesn't. And if it doesn't, you're left sipping from a paper straw at the airport cafe, wondering why saving the turtles cost you 20 minutes and possibly your boarding time. But if you think that's ridiculous, what I tell you next will blow your mind. Everyone knows the no more than 100 milliliters per container rule. You've probably seen people chugging their water bottles in line like it's a frat party just to get through security. But here's where things get sneaky. It's not just about the volume anymore. Security is paying more attention to the type of liquid, even when it's in the correct size. Let's say you bring a small container of soup. It's under 100 milliliters. Technically fine, right? Wrong. Some airports consider anything with a semi-solid texture, like soup, yogurt, or even peanut butter, as not allowed, regardless of size. Peanut butter, people! You can literally spread it on bread, but you can't spread it across borders. So yes, you may carefully measure your toiletries into travel bottles, but if you toss in a tiny jar of peanut butter as a snack, you might find yourself in a 30-minute discussion with security. And let's be honest, no one wants to stand there defending their love of creamy versus crunchy. You've probably heard no spare lithium batteries in checked luggage. But what about in your carry-on? This is where travelers get tripped up. Power banks are allowed, but only up to a certain capacity. Anything over 100 watt-hours gets flagged. Now, most people don't measure their power bank's capacity in watt-hours, right? You just buy it on Amazon because it says charges your phone 5 times. Here's where it gets tricky. If you bring a power bank that's too big, they won't just take it out of your bag. Sometimes they'll make you go back, check it in, or even discard it. And that can take so much time you end up missing boarding. And let's not even get started on e-cigarettes and vapes. Those have to go in your carry-on, not your checked luggage. But if the battery looks suspicious or the liquid cartridges aren't packed right, you're in for an interrogation that makes you feel like you're smuggling plutonium instead of flavored vapor. If you thought peanut butter was complicated, just wait until someone tries to explain vape juice in a second language at airport security. Now, here's a category most people don't even think about until they're panicking: medications. Yes, you're allowed to bring them. But did you know that in some countries, common over-the-counter meds from your home country are actually banned substances? Imagine explaining why you have a bottle of cold medicine that's completely legal at home, but treated like contraband abroad. And even if the medication itself is fine, the packaging matters. If it's not in the original container with the prescription label, security can give you a hard time. You might think you're being efficient by packing pills into a little travel organizer, but that tiny choice could turn into a long delay while you're asked to explain every single tablet. And trust me, trying to mime, "This is for my allergies," to a security officer doesn't always end well. You know that feeling when you're about to board a long flight and you want just one comforting snack? Maybe grandma's homemade cookies, or that specialty cheese you picked up on your trip. Well, food can be one of the most misleading carry-on categories. Cookies? Usually fine. Cheese? Depends. If it's a hard cheese, you're good. If it's a soft cheese, like brie or camembert, security may treat it like a liquid or gel. Suddenly, your precious snack is being poked, prodded, and possibly confiscated. And let's talk about spreads. Nutella lovers, this one hurts. A small jar might fit under the 100 milliliter limit, but because it's a spread, it counts as a gel. I repeat, Nutella is a gel. You might think it's delicious happiness in a jar, but to airport security, it's a potential threat. If you thought your stainless steel straw was unfair, try watching your Nutella get tossed in the trash. That's heartbreak on a whole other level. Remember when you only had to pull your laptop out of your bag? Now, in many airports, you also have to remove tablets, game consoles, even large cameras. I once saw a passenger forced to pull out a stack of camera lenses one by one while the line behind him groaned in unison. It felt like a live unboxing video, but without the excitement. The kicker? Rules aren't consistent. In one airport, you might breeze through with everything in your bag. In another, they'll want every single cable, battery, and gadget displayed like a tech museum. That unpredictability is what makes travelers so stressed. Because how do you plan for rules that change depending on which airport you're standing in? Here's something you might not expect. Clothing can cause delays too. Ever worn boots through security? Congratulations, you just added 10 minutes to your wait. Belts with large buckles? Same thing. And let's circle back to our stainless steel straw for a second, because jewelry can create the exact same issue. If you're loaded up with metal accessories, you're practically guaranteeing a pat-down. And let's not forget about sporting equipment. A baseball bat in your carry-on? Definitely not. But did you know that even small items like fishing hooks or knitting needles can cause trouble? Yes, knitting needles. Apparently, some security officers think you're going to knit your way into trouble at 30,000 feet. By now, you're probably thinking, why does one airport let me through with my soft cheese while another treats it like C4 explosive? And the answer is that while international guidelines exist, each country, and sometimes even each airport, applies them differently. That means the real rule is expect the unexpected. The same way trusting airplane Wi-Fi is like expecting a 5-star meal at a gas station, trusting consistency in airport security is like expecting to find peace and quiet in a toddler play area. You just know it's not going to happen. The best way to survive? Pack light, know the basics, but always prepare for surprises. Because at the end of the day, it's not about what you think should be allowed, it's about what security decides in that exact moment.